I'm gonna pray to the internet gods first and foremost that our connection would be okay. Please. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on the program. For today, we have a very special guest, a person I look up to very much in the community, especially when it comes to the different fighters. I think the first time I actually met you was you were teaching me Unist. But I also saw you in various Guilty Gear commentary, also participating in different tournaments. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome NTR's Niteraid.
Hey,
Yeah.
okay. Hi, I am Niteraid, and Poch, thank you for having me in your show.
Oh yeah, dude.
Don't-
I thank you. I think you were gonna say congratulations, but honestly, congrats to everyone in the. I don't know. I just feel like it's a good time to be a fighting game fan, especially we're talking about the rollback fighters that are coming out left and right because this pandemic doesn't seem like it's ending anytime soon.
Sadly.
Out of all that was announced, is there any particular title that you're most excited about?
Most excited about. I'm excited for the new ones coming in, but of course we have to pay homage to my bread and butter, which is Guilty Gear,
Let's
which
go.
kind of opened up the resurgence for net play fighters because it's one of the main fighting games that actually pushed out a very competent rollback based fighting game during this pandemic. And as for upcoming rollback fighters, there is, of course, gotta mention KOF because it's coming out in just a month from now.
Yeah,
Less than a
February
month from now.
17. Our
Yeah.
expectations will be shattered, my friend.
Yeah, expectations will be shattered. I hope so. And aside from KOF, there are also good contenders for rollback fighters, which is the recently announced DNF Duel.
Ooh.
Uh,
We have to talk about that because I wasn't able to try it. Were you able to try that?
I was able to try it for maybe a cumulative
Oh, because the
5 minutes.
lobbies, I heard
Yeah,
the
the
wait time
lobbies
was
was
quite long.
yeah, I gave up because apparently, according to some of the people who got to play it pretty extensively, you need to be a Wi-Fi player to play it
No.
without that much interruption. So if you
Wow.
you were connecting with wired, it just keeps on constantly booting you out.
How dare they?
So
They reward the Wi-Fi players?
they're
Well,
rewarding your Wi-Fi
I don't
players.
know. Maybe they're stress testing the Wi-Fi. You know, again, it's only a beta, right? So
Yeah, only a beta.
it's not yet. It's not the final product yet. Anyway, yeah, we'll get to that in just a bit. But any other fighters that you want to mention that is on the horizon, the up and coming that you want to talk about?
Upcoming rollback fighters. Well, not really new, but BB Tag
BBC.
is
Yep.
a is slated to have its rollback implementation next month as well. So February is going to be very rollback
Heavy.
centric. Yeah, very rollback
Everyone's
heavy.
celebrating Valentine's Day. We're celebrating the gift of rollback for fighting
Yeah, the
games.
gift of rollback. And
That.
of course, there's also the looming uh news of Street Fighter 6. Who
Yeah,
knows, right?
looming, right? It's is it there? Is it not there? I don't know. The Capcom Fighters is
Yeah.
still ongoing as on the time of this recording, but
Mhm.
we have to see. So yeah, let's talk about it like one by one. Right, Guilty Gear. You just mentioned today, and it kind of slipped my radar that Baiken's images were kind of leaked, and honestly, like people were clamoring for Baiken, but I don't even know if people are gonna be using her because she's so hard to use.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, because I have to say, Guilty Gear Strive is the Guilty Gear I really delved into. Like I kind of dabbled with the previous Guilty Gear iterations, Accent Core also, since it was on sale at one point. But with Baiken, how do you think she's gonna translate to this new iteration of Guilty Gear?
Man, Baiken has seen a lot of changes ever since from X2 to Accent Core to Xrd and then to this coming Strive. So it's going to be another big overhaul maybe. I'm not sure if they are going to be keeping her guard cancels
Right.
from Accent Core plus R or if they will be going the route of her Xrd iteration which basically has her blitz shield changed into her guard point thing.
Mm.
It's going to be very exciting, and yeah, given that the leak was leaked early
Mm-hmm.
on today, it's safe to say that by this weekend, maybe on Frosty Faustings, which is
Ooh.
going to happen this weekend, we may be able to see a trailer after the Strive finals there. So
Yeah,
something
hopefully.
to
Mm. Yeah, something to look
to
forward
keep in
to,
touch. Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm excited because like I think the character reveals have definitely been an event that the community has been looking forward to. Although like I have to admit, like the characters that did come out, they're quite hard to use. Like none of them are
Yeah,
as beginner friendly as I like as new as a new player of Guilty Gear would hope for. Because I mean, you got it's at John Goodman. Like you also got Jacko. You also got Happy Chaos.
Happy
Really
Chaos. Yeah.
technical characters.
I guess that's their statement that there's since before releasing Strive, everyone, especially most of the OG Guilty Gear community, have been saying that, oh my gosh, Guilty Gear Strive, what have you done to my very, very complex, uh, very well nuanced game.
Mm-hmm.
But with the release of these DLC characters, so far
Mm-hmm.
it's like they're giving out a statement that, what do you mean overly simplified game?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
I mean
mm-hmm.
yeah, overly simplified. I guess you can make a case with how much the Gatlings have been changed.
Yeah.
Much of the freedom of doing air dash combos or whatever the heck uh high execution combos were there back in Accent Core or in Xrd. But Strive, I'm basically treating it as a different game
Mm-hmm.
that still offers a lot of room for creativity. And once you get past marrying Guilty Gear Strive with the previous iterations, it's a pretty solid game.
I think yeah,
And
the community has such warm hearts towards the previous iterations that they can't let go of it just yet. I think you
mm,
said it best. Yeah, you might have to see this as a new game in itself, just for you to enjoy it because it is quite fun to play. I have to say, you just there are crazy combos that you could do, and it's always fun to see. I do have to ask though, when it comes to the DLC characters, do you have a favorite?
DLC characters, the so far I've been enjoying dabbling with Happy Chaos
Hmm.
because I tried John Goodman. And he's kind of fun,
Gold
but
Lewis, yeah. Sorry,
yeah,
I forgot his name for a bit. That's why I'd say John Goodman, who's the guy for John Goodman.
I mean,
Dude,
you're not wrong. He
Gobo in Red Bull Kumite won with him.
Yeah,
So big statement, right? You have a pool of soul bag guys and Leos and Enos and all that, and he brought out after using Zato all the way. Then he went to Gold Lewis right after. He's like, all right, cool. This is how I'm gonna win.
yeah, and it's also a statement that there has been the sentiment that Gold Lewis was bottom tier. He could not keep up with the
Mm-hmm.
top tiers of the game. But yeah, Gobo with the statement during that Red Bull Kumite.
Mm-hmm. So with him doing that, do you think that we haven't scratched the surface yet with like let's say Jacko or Happy Chaos? I know you said Happy Chaos too, but I've been seeing some crazy combo videos. But maybe because ICFC hasn't been around just yet. I think the season two or well the ICFC for GGST just ended, and it might start up sometime soon. But we haven't really seen a dedicated like Happy Chaos or like a Jacko.
Yeah, I for now I think at least in the US scene, Deb, who's a
Mm.
very prominent Guilty Gear player, is she's been doing great work with Happy Chaos and making people cry about Happy Chaos and having why does he have a gun in this fighting game? So it's kind of shades of Elfelt, which is also
Wow. Mm-hmm.
a very beloved gun wielding Guilty Gear character.
Oh yeah.
So um, yeah, definitely scratching the surface because there's a lot of very kooky stuff that's been
Yeah,
coming out
it's insane.
and
And
very insane.
it's very scary too. If I guess it's like I mean, especially if you they just say like put him in the corner and he doesn't have like any way to get out of it, right? Because it's really he can't block when he's in his focus mode and all that. But who knows? I mean, Gobo, he did push the boundaries with a gold Lewis Dickinson. I'm excited to see what else Happy Chaos will bring to the table. Is there any character, Niteraid, that you want to come to this iteration of Guilty Gear? I know your girl Dizzy isn't here yet. Maybe. I don't know. She's very complex, though.
Yeah, actually, here.
There we go. Boom. For the YouTube watchers here, there she is.
As much as I'd like Dizzy, being in Guilty Gear Strive, it's going to be another learning experience, because he's bound to get changed very, very hard, in Strive. So for me, I'm most excited for having in Strive is Sin, aside from Dizzy.
Okay.
Because I'd rather pick Sin than Dizzy at this point, because Sin in Xrd at the very least deals a lot of damage, controls good spacing, and most of his normals are very, very fit for Guilty Gear Strive, I think.
I don't know if it was you or I remember when I was trying to get into Xrd, I was asking around like which character should I get into, and you said try Sin. He's pretty okay. I mean, aside from Kai, of course, but yeah, interesting. Yeah, hopefully we'll get to see that. And I don't know, a lot of clamor for Johnny to come back, but who knows?
Yeah, there's a lot of clamor for Johnny to come back, but once you fight Johnny in prime state,
do you really want him back, guys?
Yeah.
Let's be real. Let's be real.
The tables will turn for sure.
Okay, so I mean, we have Guilty Gear to look forward to this year. I'm so excited. It won Fighting Game of the Year, so congrats to all the people that backed that game up, and also in Rev Major. What a turnout for the Guilty Gear community. But you know what? You did mention that there is another game in the horizon, which is KOF, that might shatter the expectations again. Ooh, yeah. And then I remember messaging you. I'm like, how do I get into this franchise? Because I've seen these characters, but I never, honestly, like one of the things that I think resonates with some of the people that are very scared to get into this game. It's like, dude, it's so execution heavy. Did you see the combo trials in 13? Oh my god.
Yeah. It's prime mining grounds for YouTube content.
Oh yeah, aside from tier list, it's the trials.
It's the trials for KOF. But in this particular iteration of KOF, I think it's going to be a bit more accessible compared to 13. Because from trying KOF 15 during the betas, it's a very, very beautiful mix of KOF 13 and 14. Ooh. And even veterans from the 2K2 era, we have characters like the Team Orochi, who are prominent characters from the old era of KOF. And it's aiming for a lot. It's shooting its shot. It's aiming for the old audience. It's aiming for the audience that started playing with KOF 13, which is probably me, because I started playing KOF during the 13 era, and even the 14 players who are still the current game as of now, because 15 hasn't officially released, and 15 is a very, very good step forward coming from 14, I believe, because one, it's not going to be as crazy in execution, and two, they revamped max mode, which has been kind of a problem in KOF 14, because once you pop max mode, it's going to be hella crazy. Now you need to think about spending your meter in entering max mode, and it's not going to be as crazy as 14 got. But it's in general, the combos have been kind of shortened, and the damage has been adjusted to be so there's a lot of interplay with how you spend your meter now, not as opposed to 14, in which you just pop max mode and go crazy.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that too. I think we did talk about like the meter. Can you do EX moves now, like without popping into max mode, or you still have to get into max mode for you to do EX moves?
Yeah. That's the thing now in 15. You
Mm-hmm.
can EX moves are not married
Locked.
with the
Mm-hmm.
max,
Okay.
with the max mode mechanic as with KOF 14.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying, that it's a mix of 13 and probably 2K2 mechanics with the 14 formula, with max mode giving you that now, at least in the KOF 15 max mode, when you hit it, it gives you a brief pause so that you
Mm-hmm.
can collect yourself, you can assess the situation, and be prepared to do your combo. As with the previous ones, especially in 13 and in even 2K2, which is very very fast paced. Once you pop max mode, you need to be committed.
Yeah, you're
You need to
dead.
be very
You
very
gotta buy a
prepared your
ring. Yeah, you
combos.
gotta buy a ring for that. You gotta
Yeah,
commit, bro.
definitely. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm. I was
yeah.
very. I was actually very excited for fifth. Actually, when they were doing the character trailers, right? And then at first it didn't look like the game for me. I don't know if it was the graphics, but slowly but steadily, I don't know, it started to grow on to me. Then I started
Oh,
researching the lore. Sorry, go for it.
hmm yeah. Regarding the graphics, when you compare the first trailers for
Mm,
15, with the ones they're releasing now, they've been very
improving, right?
they've been very they've improved. Yeah, definitely. They've improved the graphics a bit, and it's so pleasing to the eyes now, especially when you're seeing it in motion when trying the beta. And it's very, if anyone is saying that, oh man, the graphics are just like 14, it's not
Mm.
that great, especially in this era of next gen consoles. But in motion and with the latest builds, the graphics are, yeah, as you said, it grows on you, and it's very pleasing to the eyes for me at the very least.
Yeah, when I was watching you guys do the demo in ESGS, it was very clear. It didn't. Okay, I have to call a spade. In 14, it looked like a PS2 PS3 game. It didn't
Yeah,
look its
yeah.
best, right? Even at its peak, like if you buy it on Steam, it still kind of looks like it's hard on the eyes. But this one, it really grows on you, and I don't know. It just I like what you mentioned. It flows very well, and watching it and also kind of dabbling it. I kind of played a bit with Dix and Aids.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. It still reminds me of 14, which I think is an easy entry into the franchise. Definitely. I have not tried 13. I haven't dabbled onto that one, but I did try 2K2, which was it's pretty crazy too because you got to get your execution on point for
Yeah,
that one.
yeah. KOF is very execution heavy, and I think some might call KOF anime Street Fighter at that,
I
because
that's a good way of putting it actually.
yeah, you kind of have the Street Fighter link somewhat, and then somewhat the special cancels are link-ish with the feel. So it's more or less yeah, anime Street Fighter. And speaking of Street Fighter, I also know a lot of prominent Street Fighters have dabbled with KOF.
Mm.
Yeah, one person in mind is the Cebu players, Bully and Donjin.
Oh, let's go.
Uh,
Really? Okay.
they played KOF, and
Mm.
there's one particular story with these guys, especially Bully, because in the last Rev Major 2019 actual in-game event,
Mm-hmm.
I just saw Bully hanging around, and so, Oi, Bully, you joining KOF? No, I'm joining Tekken and Street Fighter. Sali ka na ng KOF. It's going to be fun. Sabi niya, okay, sige, why not sign me up? And then
Whoa, let's
and then
go.
he signed up, he played, and lo and behold, I think he got top 8 or
No
something.
way. Oh my
He
god.
Yeah, he was not planning on joining KOF. I just
Was this KOF 14 he was playing?
yeah, that was
Nice.
14. And this is just I guess saying that Street Fighter. It's basically Street Fighter in anime form. Yeah.
Yeah, it translates pretty well, and especially with
Yeah,
this
it translates
iteration,
very well.
I don't know. It's that you need to have 3 characters. That's pretty daunting in other games, right? Where like let's say like a Tekken, where you kind of just have to main one character. I guess here there's your skill can transcend with 3 characters. And big shout outs to Bully, by the way, because in Rev Major
Yeah.
2019, top 3, I think Street Fighter. Yeah, he was on
Yeah,
stage
yeah.
for that one. And also for KOF, he was pulling double duty there. I'm not sure what his placing
Yeah.
was in Tekken, but it was a murders row in Tekken though. So I hope I could have him on. Actually, he's like one of the players that I really look up to, and I'm really intimidated because of his
Yeah,
name.
definitely.
But he's just so good at multiple titles of games.
He's a pretty nice guy, and yeah, as you've said, he is very strong in a lot of games and has knowledge with all these games. So yeah, I think it's a good pick. Also, maybe even Dr. Jimmy also has.
Shout outs
Yeah.
to Doc Jimmy. Yeah, is he into KOF too?
I think so. I think
Nice.
most of the Cebu players back then, I think
Actually,
they
I wouldn't
dabbled in
I wouldn't be
KOF.
surprised because it's 2 of the things Doc Jimmy likes: Street Fighter and anime. If you marry those 2, come on,
Yeah,
let's go.
see, it's a match made in heaven.
There we go. So shout outs to Doc Jimmy as well. Actually, like you mentioned that you wanted to give some shout outs to probably people in the KOF community that if people are listening, maybe could look out for, maybe some content creators or do you happen to know anyone that they can
Oh
go
yeah,
to? Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of the prominent KOF people, especially when you cluster them. So one of the prominent players for KOF, of course, you've seen in ESGS,
Gore
the
values.
Pasig boys, Gore Values,
Oh, let's
who
go.
represented the Philippines in the Neo Geo World Tour.
Yeah, I watched that.
For
That's insane.
yeah,
He had a crazy run there.
yeah, very very crazy run. So yeah, the Pasig boys, Ash, Mael, Dev, and
Mm-hmm.
then we have the North Mall people, who have been who has a strong showing for KOF all the time. Just put out a tournament for KOF and they'll be there, and they
Wow.
will make their presence known in the leaderboard for sure.
Oof.
Uh, yeah, and who else? Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, I think Don Jim, Bully,
Okay.
even in Dr. Jimmy, they've been playing KOF before, so there's a lot of people who play KOF. Even I think one of my co-casters before for KOF is Tito J.
I
Tito
think.
Jeriel. So
Mm-hmm.
he's also very well versed with the all the history of KOF uh here in the country. And of course, gotta mention Tito Steve.
Yeah,
Since
Tito Steve.
yeah,
I wanted
yeah.
to give him a big shout out too, and I would have to say I think Billy too. He was there with us in
Oh
ESGS.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so super
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah. I'm gonna mention Billy last because
Mm-hmm.
we do play a lot, especially during the beta.
Mm.
We did get some good sets with rollback. So rollback was definitely tested when during that time, and I'm looking forward to seeing and playing Billy in KOF 15, especially that he has his Vanessa over there. So it's going to
Ooh.
be a treat, definitely.
God, Vanessa, look such a cool character, but looks like the skill to just master her is crazy. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna stick to King. Just keep kicking people, and
yeah, kicking people and throwing fireballs out.
I just feel like her super is just so weird. Like it's gravity defying. Like how the hell? Like when I first saw it, when she starts kicking you in midair, like it's yeah. I'm like this is my character. Anyway, what I wanted to ask is there was that one weekend where it was DNF Duel and KOF in the betas, right? Leading to my question of DNF Duel. What are your first impressions on that game?
First impressions for DNF Duel. The netcode needs a lot of baking because
All right.
we were talking about this offline earlier. But DNF Duel, the case for playing this game or being able to play net play at least, goes against the rule, the basic rule of
Right.
playing net play games, which is to play in wired.
Mm. Yeah.
And DNF Duel just turns the tables on that rule, and in order to play that specific beta,
Mm-hmm.
you need to be on Wi-Fi in order to play consistently and have the game not kick you out after just 3 seconds of connecting with another person, which is
Oof.
very, very frustrating from my side.
Did you
But
eventually try the Wi-Fi, or someone just told you about that?
no, I just knew about it. Shout outs to the Guilty Gear Discord who was able to power through all the disconnects and find out that the proper way to play it is through Wi-Fi.
Wow.
And yeah,
That must have
it
took a
was
lot
too
of
late for
tinkering.
me.
Like, how do I do this? And like, oh, just try
Yeah, they
Wi-Fi.
were very dedicated on making that game work, and it paid off for them. But for me, I think I was able to get complete sets for around 3 times versus good connections from, I think it was from Korea. So
Wow.
once
Okay.
once the once the game actually works, it's very buttery smooth. So taking cues from maybe Guilty Gear Strive, somewhat, uh, the experience was okay at the very
Mm.
least when you get the gameplay actually working.
Nice. If I may ask, like, which character did you use? Because like, these characters, they don't have the most, well, they don't have personalized names. It's like Crusader, Striker, all that, which I think is
Yeah.
pretty cool. Because again, I haven't played DNF Duel like in the the game though. But yeah, these are the archetypes, right? That
Yeah,
that you use.
it's the basic MMO fare that you have the classes, and
Mm-hmm.
that's, you just refer to them as these classes. So a good homage to its origins, and
Mm-hmm.
no need to name these characters specific names. But as for your question, I used Shinobi. I think maybe
Guns.
Shinobi.
Oh, Shinobi. Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. The ninja girl.
Mm.
I just picked her because the mobility options is very good. And upon playing that game, I found out that movement is kind of sluggish because it's not meant to be a very crazy fighter that's super air dashy like most anime fighters.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
It's
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's kind of like uh what Arxis did with Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. So
Oof.
it's
Mm-hmm.
something like that with huge emphasis on neutral and big normals, as we've seen with the Crusader videos, where that they just hit you with a hammer and give you Aegis Reflector and hit you with a hammer again.
They just keep blessing you, man. They just keep blessing you. Did you
Yeah,
see
yeah, bless up.
yeah? Did you see the grapplers infinites? Like it was pretty nutty how
Yeah,
like, oh wow, this is how this game is played. I'm like, again, this is a beta. I was watching Majin actually play it, and he was actually schooling
yeah,
people
yeah.
like, this is actually a good thing, and you can't ask for much in a beta. It's supposed to have all these weird exploits and connection issues. Just be glad it's a beta and you're not paying for it just yet.
Yeah, that's the good thing with the betas. At least, at the very least, we when we actually get our hands on the r- actual product, uh, these types of mishaps will be non-existent, or at the very least, there wouldn't be as much problems during launch. And that's what we're doing with the beta. We're basically testing it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not costing us anything. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
just our time with waiting waiting in the loading screen, getting
Mm-hmm.
disconnected. But yeah, it's a free experience. If you're having fun, then good for you. And if you're not having fun,
If you're a
then hit.
Wi-Fi player, you're having fun.
Yeah, you're now a Wi-Fi player. You are exposed now. But
Mm.
yeah, if you did not have a good experience, you just send feedback and with the hopes of improving the game.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, that beta definitely helped with gauging interest in that DNF. So in the DNF game in general. So I hope when they put out the next beta, they do good for the wired players to have them be able to play and enjoy the game. Because from what I've seen, it's a pretty crazy game. Despite being kind of neutral heavy or being kind of on the sluggish side.
Mm.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it in action more in the future. So
Yeah, honestly, like it really captured my attention when I first saw how it looked like. And based on what my friends say as well, yeah, the movement is a bit sluggish. Again, you're not supposed to compare it to like an anime fighter. with great mobility options. Again, maybe also depends on the character. Or I don't know. You use
Yeah.
Shinobi, so I guess that was peak mobility already. But it still felt
Yeah,
if it
yeah.
still felt kind of sluggish. I guess that's how the movement is supposed to be in that game.
Yeah, that's the formula they're going for. And
Mm,
to be fair, when with the time that I tried it, the inputs, combos are very very easy.
mm,
So I hope it's going to be a good starting point for most people who have not delved into fighting games but want to jump into it. Well, I think it's going to be a good starting point.
mm. Nice.
And
Okay.
speaking of starting points, I just remembered one more rollback
Let's go.
game that is on everyone's radar, which is Project L.
Yes, that's actually what I wanted to segue to. How do you feel about that? Because it looked pretty good on the trailer. I'm like, wow, it's gonna be a tag fighter, very reminiscent of I think Marvel Fighters. I think you know what I think. I think they might have like the Infinity Stone thing, like what they had of MBCI,
Yeah,
but have Drakes instead, like the dragon buffs, the elemental
yeah.
Drake. So I'm like, maybe.
We'll see, but from the looks of it, from what they've shown so far, yeah, it's going to be a team-based game, 2v2, and a lot of the Marvel players would definitely be interested to check it out. And of course, the dream for this particular fighting game, aside from having good rollback, because it's the Cannon brothers who was
Mm,
overseeing that particular aspect of the game, is that we actually make fighting games more prominent in the whole sphere of accessible fighting games. There's even talks that it might even go the free to play route, just like most of Riot's games. So who knows? Who knows if it's going to be uh, the cause of resurgence of fighting games in general
Yeah,
for the
fingers
general
crossed,
public.
man. Just leave it to Riot Games to try and help the fighting game community because I think I'm gonna mention some platform fighters here. Brawl Holla,
Mm.
it's a free game, and the prize
Mhm.
pool is over $1 million for one
Yeah,
tournament.
I've
For the
seen
you see
I've
that? That's
seen those prize
insane.
pools. Yeah, insane.
I was just talking to Mystic Mall about this too. In DC's Warner the Multiversus, that's another
Mm,
platform fighter. It's gonna be a free to play game.
yeah.
So I don't know. It just seems like this might be the new route to take, aside from having excellent rollback integrated into the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, this might, I don't know, kind of change up the framework for a fighting game to be successful. So fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, definitely. And it's always a welcome addition to have these type of fighters come out, because it just pushes out that rollback actually does make
Right?
fighting games.
It does.
It's more attractive now to play fighting games, because you don't need to deal with faulty connections. At least, the very least, you get more of the games instead of wrestling with network incompatibilities.
Mm-hmm. Unless you're a Wi-Fi player. So.
Yeah, come on.
Come on, guys. Come on. Anyway, we're rounding out to the end of our interview here, Niteraid. Thank you so much again for joining us. If I may ask, since it is a new year, I have to ask, what's your New Year's resolution in terms of fighting games and probably a wish that you want for the community?
New Year's resolution for the fighting game community. I guess if time would permit, I want to actually host
Oh,
events
let's go.
for
Okay.
fighting games, like host tournaments and offer up prize pools for whatnot. Because last year I was actually planning on doing something for Guilty Gear Strive.
Mm-hmm.
Since as you've known, since you've been part of ICFC, it's been console only, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there, in the Philippines, the majority of players play on PC,
Mm-hmm.
and I want our local players, especially, to experience the hype, or experience the stakes when there's prize money involved when playing, for in particular, Guilty Gear Strive. So I want to actually push through with that tournament this year. hopefully when I'm able to settle down once I settle down with my fiance.
Let's go. Congrats once again,
Yeah.
my guy.
Yeah, thank you very much. So once I've sorted that out
Mm.
and uh, I find my bearings, I want to actually pull through with actually doing a tournament. So it's one of giving back to
Yeah.
the community because so far the Guilty Gear Philippines Discord has basically turned into rollback anime fighting game PH right now because ever since Blaze Blue Central Fiction was rollbackified, everyone has been playing
Going
that game
back,
and
yeah.
it's going back because BBCF is a very very fun game and very if you're looking for a very technical fighter, it's that's the game for you because and the rollback is doing itself doing that game a favor because
Nice.
it's so good, so good.
That's actually a
And
game I
yeah,
should get into this year. I don't know. Like, there's a lot of hype behind it. I have a lot of friends. Dude, BBCF, man. Get into it. Get into it.
yeah,
So, we'll see, though, because that's pretty exciting. Let me know how I can help out with that tournament, if ever. But yeah, you do your thing first. Yeah, settle down, be a family man, first and
yeah.
foremost. Do you think this might be an NTR thing, or is this going to be just your own thing on your stream?
Uh, I think the NTR boys have been planning on hosting online tournaments for quite a while now, especially for Multi Blood type Lumina.
Oh,
So maybe it might be a joint tournament like the old Oki fights from the days of
yeah.
offline.
Oh,
Maybe Guilty Gear Strive and Multi Blood type Lumina, but we'll see. We'll see once everything is sorted out and we can do these tournaments. We'd want to give back to the community and keep the flame burning
oh
for
yeah.
for our players and local scene that is still continually striving and thriving
Hey,
right
there we
now.
go. Niteraid with the bars there.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, lastly, any wish you want for this new year, or this new year for the community? That is.
I just wish the community first of all stays healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that fighting games have been quite a good outlet for people to just congregate in group chats since this pandemic has left us um, kind of down in the dumps.
Yeah, that's a good way of
If
putting
I
it.
can say,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So thank you for keeping up the community spirit in playing fighting games, and I just hope that the cases die down for um, the pandemic in general, and that we finally achieve the long sought after offline casuals, offline gatherings,
Oh.
offline events,
Mm-hmm.
tournaments at that. So that's the one thing I want to happen this year so that we all get to do the things we do together offline or after playing fighting games, which is to eat out and get some drinks and
Exactly.
socialize. Yeah.
That's actually one of the highlights for me after we play a bunch of sets. Just wash away the salt. Like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Let's go get some food. Let's hang out. Let's talk about the games we just had. You know what?
I miss it, bro. I miss it.
Memories of the old world. Can you believe that? That's insane. Like,
Yeah. It's
oh
been
my
2 years already.
it's been insane. Yeah, it's been a wild ride, but hopefully, we're just gonna ride out this pandemic, and you know what? There's tournaments to look forward to, and hopefully, I can have you on again for the program so that. Hey man, like we could definitely discuss like news coming out from Guilty Gear, other games like KOF, maybe also from
Yeah.
maybe Project L. Who knows? We'll find out. But yeah, any last words, Night Raid, before we close off this episode?
Last words. Just keep on playing fighting games.
Mm.
It's a labor of love, and that labor of love is going to be reciprocated back to you because the community in general is so fine, so good, so super
Hey.
fine. A lot of very colorful individuals,
Mm-hmm.
which I believe Potch would be very grateful to have in this particular show. That's why I am very very thankful Potch for inviting me here, and
Oh,
thank
hey.
you so much for initiating this podcast.
Oh yeah.
And
And honestly,
Yeah.
the mission statement of this podcast and the show is really to highlight the community and the members. And you have definitely been one of the members I look up to, and also the ones that have been holding down the fort. So big shout outs to Niteraid once again, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us for this
Thank you.
episode of No Salt Allowed. And where else can they follow you? And is there a time that you stream? Do you want to promote that now before we close it off?
Yeah, I just usually stream using my fried rice page, which I'm still having trouble
I'll link
with.
it. I'll link it. Yeah, on the
Yeah,
description. But
do I use fried rice or should I stick with Niteraid? It's
I'll
still
link it both.
up in the clouds. Yeah, but
Okay.
yeah, you can usually see me streaming there on Facebook and Twitch. It's I'm streaming in both platforms at the same time anyway, just to uh, get more fighting games out there
Boom.
locally at the very least. And I'm just mostly active in Twitter right now. So just at me at Niteraid, and I'll be very, very happy to talk about fighting games over there or share tech or whatnot.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. That was Niteraid. I forgot to say, pre-season ICFC GGST winner. You gotta. That was a pretty big prize pool, I have to say. That was
I guess so.
Boom. There we go. We took it to Hanzo Gonzo final round. Giovanna couldn't stand a chance. But ladies and gentlemen, that was Niteraid. This has been the No Salt Allowed. Thank you so much for watching, and keep playing fighting games. Peace.